Unlocking Marital Bliss.
Once again, very much welcome to Unlocking Marital Bliss with Miss Iris Rod. It's always a pleasure that we can gather here and we can bring you keys that unlock bliss in your marriages. And that is why we're gathered here, and that's why you're tuned in. And tell everybody else that we've come in. We're always glad to be in your living rooms, to be wherever you're watching from, and we appreciate your feedback. Let me remind you, please do not call on that number that you see on the screen. It is only for messages and WhatsApp. And we do appreciate those of you that send that and those of you that respect that. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Unlocking Marital Bliss. We have a lot of wealth of wisdom, wealth of guests over there, so much teaching that has been taking place and is going on in that place. So we really encourage you to subscribe and be able to get the notices. Yes, each and every time they're coming out. I really do appreciate that because I believe that you've been able to follow through. Thank you so much. Now, tonight, it's quite unique, and we're going to be dealing with this in a special way. Tonight, it's going to be in a special way. We want to talk about marriage and social media and the digital era. Okay? Marriage and the digital era, where we get the social media and all this. How can we succeed? How can we win? Is it possible to have bliss in marriage with the digital era? Is it possible to have that moment where you can be married and be on social media, have this digital stuff going on? Can you benefit? How do you move forward? How do you grow forward? Or what are the negative effects of something like that? Recently, a young man came to me, and I don't know what you would say. This guy is a doctor. But he told me that a client walked up to him and said, "Doc, I know the color of your bed sheets. I know the color of your bedroom. I know the color of your blanket. I know everything." And this guy was like, he was stunned. He wasn't moving. He froze. He said, "What are you up to?" And the client said, "Hey, don't worry, don't worry. I saw your wife on social media. She sits on the bed and does everything. So that's how I got to know the color of your bed sheets, the color of your blanket, and the color of your living room, and the color of your bedroom." So right now the question comes in: marriage and the digital era, social media. Is it possible to succeed? I have a guest tonight that we're going to be discussing about this, and we're going to help you. How can you handle the digital era, social media, while you are happily married? And tonight, please welcome with me Pastor Philip Nyombi. You're so much welcome to our set, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure always being brought here.
I'm glad that you always say yes.
Amen.
You've never told us no.
No,
You
no.
always show up strong and mighty. Thank you so much for always being part of this.
You're welcome.
And to be able to go forward, I have mentioned and said we're going to be talking about marriage and the digital era, in particular social media.
Yes.
And we want to see how to succeed. The negativity, the positive parts, and like I gave the example in my introduction, if you're there and you're an engineer by profession, and somebody comes to you and says, "I know the color of your bed sheets," and they've never visited your home. "I know the color of your blanket. I know the color of your bedroom."
Yes.
How are you going to respond?
First of all, I will go negative, thinking of how this guy got to know all that in my bedroom.
Thank you.
But with the era that we are in, like you said in the introduction, I'll be able to kind of understand that I'm lacking some rules and regulations in what is portrayed in my marriage, in my home, or in my bedroom.
Yes.
So whereby that brings us to a point of knowing of how we can succeed with all this publicity, with all this social media, and then follow rules and regulations. Pastor Silas, we are in a millennial age whereby some of us are over 30 years, and this social media or this communication or this sociality platform is too much in the between 18 and 30.
Yes.
And when you look at the population of the entire, like, let me take Uganda, it is 22.5 or 0.6 of the population under or between 18 and 30 years. So those people are on social media, doing a lot of things, doing a business, doing a publicity of different things, shows, meetings, all that.
Yeah.
And we are all in the same bucket,
Yes.
together with these people
Yes.
who are influencers, too much on phone, have a lot of time on it. So they are watching everything that we do, and we are watching what they do.
Let me interject.
Yes.
Don't lose your point.
Yes.
You mentioned a word over there that these days I hear that word being thrown around everywhere.
Yeah.
Influencer.
Yeah.
What do you mean by influencer?
Influencers are the majority of people that believe in the same thing, and they are focusing on some individuals that are driving the generation. Now, when you come to the areas, maybe music, there are those people this generation is looking up to. Now, when you come to politics, there are these people that we are looking up to. Say, for example, the Parliament of Uganda.
Yeah.
Those are influencers, because people are watching whatever they do. And these are young people in our Parliament presently.
Yes, sir.
When you get to other areas of professionals, when you go to court, you find these young men between 25 and 40 years. Those are influencers. I will not be able to mention who and who, so that the influencers of the generation. In any generation, way back, even Jesus was between 12 and 30 when he became an influencer.
Okay.
Even
Now,
yeah.
when you mention an influencer when he was 12 and 30,
Yeah.
if I go around,
Yes.
because this example that I used, that I want you to hold on,
Yeah.
the doc told me my wife
Yeah.
is always on our marital bed and posing seductively and doing all the talk and all this on our marital bed. And that's how other people see the color of my bed sheets and my blanket and everything. And now people can call her an influencer. What kind of, is influence supposed to be? I thought influence is supposed to be positive.
That's what you want it to be, but influence is influence. Negative publicity is still publicity. Positive
Yes.
publicity is still publicity.
Okay,
Now,
go ahead.
these people that are influencing, that are doing whatever they are doing,
Yeah.
in their mind, they actually don't know that those people that are watching. For example, this doctor is in the hospital, busy taking care of these people, but the wife is at home doing all these social communications, and other people are watching. Now, there are things that we need to understand. You have traveled, and I've also had that opportunity to travel. There are countries on this planet whereby some words cannot go through when you type them. Some videos cannot go through when you air them.
Yes.
And, they are
WhatsApps are not
not working.
not working.
When you go to China, you got to watch. Regardless of how you do it, there are some things you cannot do on their airwaves. But we are living in a developing world. I want to use it, a developing country, whereby even people that are supposed to be controlling all this going around are careless. Why? Because they are between 18 and 30. They are also enjoying whatever that is being portrayed. They forget the rules and the regulations.
Yes.
When you get to Parliament whereby control measures should be put, they are the people between that age bracket of 18 to 40. So these are the influencing people that are putting an image for us to somehow hate social media, whereas it is a mode of communication, a mode of making your views being heard. Now, as I said, like when you are an influencer, like you, Pastor Cyrus, I always watch your posts. And I'm among those people that go fast when you post anytime because you are an influencer. I want to see you woke up today, what are you thinking? Because when I read your post, I get to understand. There is another friend who is an influencer. One time he posted something. You were not even in the country. You sent me a message, please watch, our friend is doing this. Call him because he's an influencer. And we are able to control whatever that is going out because we know we are influencers. Now, this brings me to a point of being conscious as a nation, being conscious as a generation of what we portray on social media. Now, when we are conscious and we know that whatever that I'm putting out is going to be read by people beyond my reach today, today and years to come. So I make sure that whatever I put out there is either truth or fact. Because on social media, I can even put the fact that I've read about and I'm sure it is the fact. And I am able to put even the truth that I know it is the truth. Now, when you come to the question of how social media has kind of attacked the marriage, it's because those people that are too much of influence on social media, biggest percentage of them are not married.
And if they do, their marriages are just unbelievable. A total chaos.
And what we understand by marriage is not what they understand.
You're right.
They are just cohabiting. They are just trying out. They are just behaving.
They are jumping from one man to another, one man to another, one woman to another.
Marriage is totally different.
Yes, sir.
Totally different. And the Bible says in in Hebrews 13:4, should be held with such a dignity, with honor, high regard, which is up to God. You can only honor God, you can only honor your parents, and you can only honor kings in the same cluster.
You honor marriage.
Now, if you choose to talk about marriage, you must be a good candidate of what you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
You must be very learned and experienced in what you're talking about. Yes. You may not be married, but you know the values of marriage. You may have seen it with your parents. You may have read it about through the Bible or any other books that regard marriage as marriage. But if you choose to talk about marriage, talk about the values that are in marriage. I read a post. Someone posted that chains hold marriage together. If it was a conference, I would have raised my hand and said, no, you're wrong. We are not held by chains in marriage. But my answer, if I can use the example, my answer would be we are held by threads that are easily breakable. But the moments we spend together brings a lot of threads all around us in our marriage. And it comes a time we make a decision that I'm getting married to you, and that unbreakable thread becomes our bond. But when you talk about a chain is one thing that is tying you down. Now, people, when they do not understand the values of marriage, because we are not held with our wives because they are beautiful. That is just a word. We have extra values as to why we married the women that we are married to. It's not because they have this 8 figure. That is not the thing. But when you hear people on social media, when they are trying to put out the women they want to marry, the men they want to get married to, they go to properties, they go to things that are easily broken, which is riches, property, fame, height.
But there's no values.
There is no value in those. Marriage should be held with honor. Now, social media and the total social club or influence or generation, those people that are too much on social media are not married. I want to give you an example of Unlocking Marital Bliss YouTube channel and our WhatsApp group. Through all those people that are on that platform, you get to find they are married, or once they were married and they know the value of marriage, they are trying to see how to do it better, or those people that are looking out of how they can do it with great regard. You have this masterclass that's running around. Look at the comments, look at the people. If you follow them up, those people are the people the country needs. Now, with this negativity that we see, that I can use these socialite people trying to put out, that is not marriage. And majority of those people that want to post about marriage, they are not married. They are either cohabiting or they have a fog image of marriage. They think living together, driving together, going around together, that is marriage.
Having sex.
You've mentioned having sex. Sex is not marriage.
Thank you.
The content of marriage is beyond sex.
Now, look at this, Pastor Philip. I love the ground that you've laid out so well. That we need to honor marriage. We need to hold it in high regard. That's why some of us keep it in high regard and we celebrate it. You just celebrated 25 years the other day. And we were there to jump with you and shout and give glory to God for that. That's part of honoring marriage, that you're able to honor your vows, you're able to stay faithful, you're able to be there. Now, when somebody's married in this era where we have social media that is about a show, that is about a show, we have a challenge that many women get to a point that they are using social media. They are married, but they will use social media for attention, to attract followers, get the attention. You get what I'm saying? And this is the situation of this young girl. Imagine you are married, but the way you portray yourself on social media, it's like, I'm available. I'm around. And most of them, because this guy was talking to me, said, if you saw the videos of my wife, it doesn't portray that she's married. Because she's either doing hands like this, doing what, showing off her butt, and all these. And this is what most girls on social media are doing, and this is what wives are doing. When women do something like that, you're telling people, I'm available. I'm not yet taken, but you are married. I'm available. I'm not yet taken. The cry of wives on social media portraying themselves as available. Would you say that's a form of unfaithfulness to their spouses?
My answer is yes. My answer is yes, you are being unfaithfulness. But you know, as I said about influence, when you look at the majority of the young generation, when I say young generation, that is from that 18 to 30, 40 years. That's a young generation. And when I come to a point of saying yes, I want to make a point out of this. Now,
because this is the whole thing, marriage and social media.
Now, all the movies, all the videos, they have come to a point of even portraying the act of sex openly to the screen, and it is not even censored. Now, you can see this woman just doing whatever she is doing, but being influenced by another power that is, behind the scene.
And like you say, that word influencer.
She's being influenced. She even don't know what she's doing. She may be just attracting attention of winning followers, but doesn't know the impact she has done to herself, to the generation, and to the country. because she may not be having children now. But all those videos are going to be stored for years to come as long as social media is existing.
Yeah.
And her children will be able to see how the mother behaved even when she was married. Now, she's depriving herself the right to discipline her children and all other people, young sisters, and everyone that knows her. She's depriving herself by going with the influence of that time. Now, if the woman portrays that, it is a responsibility, and I want to put it back to the husband.
Thank you.
To go back, talk to your wife,
Yes.
educate your wife,
Yes.
love your wife.
It's your responsibility.
It is your responsibility.
Yes.
Now to these married women,
Yes.
because she's lacking where she can, demonstrate
Yes.
her lovely gestures, her lovely, because when the man comes back, maybe he's too tired, very, very exhausted. But you can have your wife, demonstrate all those goodies to you, and then you consume them by yourself.
So you're saying that if she wants to show off, she can do it in your bedroom for you.
For the husband.
Because now that she's married, she's not for the public.
No.
She's been taken away.
vows say so.
So now there's a danger that many women right now, you have been taken, the desire for attention,
Yes.
the hunger for attention is driving many women, married women, to literally go out there and seek the attention.
Yes.
Go out there, the way they dress says, I'm available. I'm not yet taken.
Yes.
And most husbands don't have the power to even stop it. They are cowards. You see, Pastor Philip, you got a great marriage, but I'm telling you, out there, we have men that will literally pee in their pants if you told them, go and talk to your wife, just like you've said it. Go and tell her you don't need to dress like that before in the outside world over there. You don't need to do that. And they'll say, please, no, can you help me?
Can you help me?
Can you help me talk to her? Because, what would you say to such a man? Because he doesn't know what to say.
God created man in his image.
Yeah.
Man, the original image
Yes,
of
sir.
God
Yes.
is a man like
Yes.
me and you.
Yes.
And one of the and some of the obligation that we are given is to replenish, rule over, take charge, execute whatever God wants us to do. It is listed in Genesis.
Yes.
Now, if you fear and you're timid, you're a coward before that one person in the name of your wife, you are not representing us. Pastor Silas can find a good word for you, but as for me, you are not representing us well.
Yes.
So my brother, my fellow man, that woman, you did one of the best confrontation by telling her, I love you and I want to marry you. I want to sleep with you. I want you to be the mother of my children. So you still have the same guts, the same power, the same authority to tell your wife, this is how I want you to do this. Now, with the influence of the social media, did you know, Pastor Silas, that people that are having a lot of views, they are being paid? I hear YouTube pays, TikTok pays.
So
It is a place of
you
work.
want me to say the love of money,
That's where I was coming to.
the root of all evil.
Yeah, all evil.
And even people are forgetting about
The values
the values.
of life.
All right, I want you to understand that we're here and we're talking about marriage in the digital era, social media in particular. Many of the marriages have been broken, they've been torn apart by social media, how we acted out on social media. And many of you can testify to this, and many of you are probably struggling. And when we come back in just a minute, I would like my guests to take it from here. Yes, marriage is broken down. What do you do? How do we handle those phones? Because most social media, I can say 99%, is carried out on your phones. As a couple with social media, can you be able to have your husband's access? Can he have your access? When I return in a minute.
Unlocking marital bliss. Unlocking marital bliss.
We'll be back. You're still watching Unlocking Marital Bliss with Miss Iris Rod, and we're talking about marriage in the digital era, in particular social media. And many of you have looked at social media and your marriages are collapsing. And before we took a break, we literally looked at this. How best can you, we're literally focused on marriages that are falling apart because of social media. How? Social media has got some good stuff, okay? And if there's anything, scripture says, do not go around, okay? Do not go around slandering your neighbor. That is talking negative, talking negative. Today, my guest here said that you're being paid for views. Now, you want people to view, so you become stupid, so people can view stupid. Now, look at this. We asked the question, does your husband know or have access to his social media? Do you have access to his social media, to that phone? Is it possible? Because at the end of the day, we really want to understand, if we have marriage, if you don't have access to each other, if you cannot be as free, then your marriage is in danger. It's in trouble. Your marriage is in trouble. We've had questions where people will ask, do you post your wife on social media?
The answer is I do, yes.
Why?
Because it's my way of telling that marriage is doable, marriage is still exists,
And that you're
marriage
taken.
is good, and I am taken.
You're taken. You're no longer available.
I'm no longer available.
Most married people on social media advertise themselves as available, and that's the danger.
That's the danger. That's very
They
dangerous.
advertise. The more the physical relationship is going on and things are not working out like they ought to, they begin availing themselves on social media,
Putting themselves on market.
on market, and they would love the likes. The what? But this is a married person, and then posing like a prostitute. And this is a married person. And somebody will tell you, Pastor Philip, that's what men want. A married woman goes, that's what men want. Is that what men want?
That's not what we want, and that's not what I want.
Men are those?
Because those are not men. Those are not men. Those are male beings. They are man. It's a realization of who you are, and it's a responsibility if you are to be a man.
Yeah.
Because males are male. You know, we are when they say,
You're male by birth,
yeah, you're male by birth. Those are
but
male.
you're a man by choice.
I am a man by choice. I chose to be a man, not just a male.
Yes.
Now, the question is, do I post my wife? Yes, I do. Yes, I do, because I want the generation to know that I am married and I am taken. And there is no one that can come to me and ask me of, are you married? Because the whole social media knows that I am married and I've been effectively, wonderfully enjoying the marriage since day one.
So you would say it is very effective and very profound that every couple should display themselves out there. It's a way of honoring marriage. It's a way of telling people marriage is good.
Like the way we put up the wedding.
Yeah.
The reason as to why we come together, invite all our friends, invite all our families. We want them
Marriage
to know.
is not a private thing.
Marriage is not a private thing.
It's a public
I'm
thing.
now married. And that's why we go before.
I'm taken.
Yeah, that's why we go before the priests and make our vows publicly. We tell people, I'm now taken. So the same mood of your marriage should be carried all along. You should celebrate your wife's birthday. You should tell her, I love you everywhere. But you know what? We have come to a generation whereby married people are now getting ashamed of telling that they are married.
Why? Why?
Because of the negativity that is carried around. Because now people are taking even option. Is it marrying a woman like still a marriage? You know, people are having other types of marriage.
No.
Which is not. Now, on social media,
Yeah.
the reason as why I always post about my family,
Yeah.
my wife, and tell things from the Bible that concerns my marriage and the marriages that I counsel or reach out to. I want to encourage those people that are married that marriage is doable.
Yes.
And I'm still one of the candidates that are doing this marriage.
Yes.
I want to encourage the young generation that you can get married and still live up to whatever time God has given you on this planet Earth.
Yes.
And whatever I post, it is the same that I write in my books as
Yes.
history that I'm writing down. Now, the story of marriage started with God,
Yes.
and it will end with God.
God.
Now, in between here, we are just participants. We are just people that are doing what we are supposed to do. Now, anything good deserves a flag.
To be published.
Yeah, why
Now,
do
I mean, if I'm succeeding in marriage, why should I hide? Because I'm being intimidated by some media narrative that is so negative. You talked to me before we came and say it, and you say there's a research that has found out that actually, I mean, most of what we see is not real.
It's not real.
I want you to say that.
Yeah, the research that is portrayed that 50% of the marriages are breaking down, it is nullified by a judge in UK that it's not true. It is not true.
This is a narrative so the minds of people can embrace the negativity that marriage is hard. Because if 5 out of 10 are failing, then marriage is hard. Then people begin destroying marriage. And with that mindset, marriage is not only destroyed or broken, but they're destroying the family. They're targeting the family. So now they tell you, why do you want to have marriage when it's not working? So the best you can do, go sleep with any girl and have kids and let the kids raise themselves. And then you're destroying the entire society because now you've destroyed the family.
Yeah. Now, the problem is, whatever that the social media wants us to believe is much of the negative, not of the positive. When you put much of the positive, then you are in wrong. Why do you have to tell?
You're showing off.
If I dress well, why don't you want me to come out so that people will appreciate?
But we want the one who's skimpily dressed, who's literally 3/4 naked or naked. That's what we want to promote.
That's what we want to promote. Why? Because our minds are so much driven in the evil intentions than the godly values.
Yes.
Now, Genesis tells
Yes.
of how humanity should accord itself. We
Yes.
are rulers, we are influencers, we are governors, we are exemplary. God created us in his image. So whatever you do should represent the values of God. Now, let me give an example that is going to alarm you. There is one sheikh of mine recently was in the news fighting for a marriage, a Muslim marriage, which they said they allowed even to marry 4 wives. But this one sheikh was fighting for a guy that married a girl and the girl is running out of marriage because of a certain issue that I cannot mention here. Okay. But this Muslim representative was telling this girl, you don't know what you're doing to your life. You cannot walk out of this marriage with these issues you're trying to put out. Now, if a Muslim that is even allowed in his faith to marry 4 wives, it's still defending that no divorce. Yeah. You cannot, they call it okutalaka. I don't know the actual meaning or the word if I put it out. Now, people who are married, like one time we had a discussion, me and you, it took you a ticket to go and see if what I'm saying is really true. That's true. Which is a lot of money. You spent close to $4,000 because I was defending and telling you, no, there are these communities in America that are still living by the values of marriage. You took a ticket.
I did.
And you went. You told me when you were there, please, I've witnessed people have been married for 50, 40, years. 60 years, and they're enjoying.
But you know, the negative stuff in the media, in the narrative on social media, the marriage is not working out. And then those who are enjoying it appear to be isolated.
They don't have even time to publicize. They don't have even time.
But I believe we are setting out to publish and let you guys know the marriage is so good. We are winning. We're succeeding. I want you to go out on social media. Let people know you are made. Let's make the campaign.
All these people that are watching this broadcast, the people that are on our Marriage Bliss, YouTube, whoever knows
everywhere.
This, publicize your marriage. Let's make a week.
Publicize your marriage.
Today is Sunday.
Start from today. In fact, let's make it a lifestyle.
Let's make it a lifestyle.
We are a brand. We are out there. Marriage is working. And let those who have a negative narrative come out and say, oh, what do we do? These guys are beating us. The problem is we've been so quiet that we need to come out.
People think we are not there. We have more than 1,000 people on our YouTube. So let's now, this week, today is Sunday. Let's say today is Sunday. Now get your phone. Get a good picture of your marriage. Get a good picture of your wife.
Say, I am married.
I am married. Let's post this.
And it's forever.
Let the nation get to know that we are there. Yes. Let's use our phones now to publicize marriage.
Let's use our phones to publicize marriage. And tell everybody, hey, wife, post your husband. Husband, post your wife. On your status. Bring in your kids, bring in your family. This thing works. When you get to my status, you're going to see I got my wife there.
Sure, let's do this. Let's do this week.
We can do this. We can
because now we've been silent. Pastor Silas.
We are not the silent majority. We are the real thing.
Yeah, we are the real thing. Now, it has come to a point whereby social media is influencing so much, whereby when you come to a congregation, you stand up and say, I am married. They've been married for the last 26.5 years. People begin to say, how did you do it? How have you been able to? They are shocked. They are shocked.
Others are like, so what?
And to me, it is
because
like,
they are bitter.
Yesterday, people are like, why? Why do you have to say that? Why don't I have to say it?
He's showing off.
It is good.
And then many have been shut down with that talk. Why do you have to show that? Why do you have to?
Good achievement. No, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
Hey, we're going to do this and we're starting right now. Okay? Marriage is easy. Ignorance is hard. Now you know. So let us go away from this narrative, the global narrative that is attacking marriages and telling people celebrate. Telling people marriage is hard. Let me tell you, celebrate your anniversaries. Stop ignoring them. Next year, I'm 20 years.
Yeah, and we are celebrating.
And we're going to celebrate. It's going to be a blast.
Sure.
20 years next year. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to let the whole world know that you don't mess with marriage. You don't play games when it comes to marriage. It is solid. We need to do it. So I challenge you and I encourage you, whatever it takes, let's come out so boldly. Now, coming out boldly without fear or favor, we're going to need some things that are going to help us with this social media. One of the things is being transparent with our phones. Being transparent with our phones. That we are not going to just be some showbiz, but we're going to be transparent with our phones. I'm a right candidate. Can your wife access your phone?
Not only the phone. Or I don't have secrets with my wife. because my vow
Now that's
stays.
called intimacy.
Yeah, everything.
Now, there are a lot of people. Let me show you this before you bring it out. A lot of people say, if you want to succeed in marriage, and this is taught in churches, with your pastors, in churches, if you want to succeed in marriage, don't touch the man's phone. Is that it touching a man's phone is a taboo? Why is it that touching a man's phone is a taboo, but touching a woman's phone ain't a taboo? What exactly are we teaching the people?
That's a wrong teaching. I can just summarize that is evil. That's being evilous.
Okay.
There is nothing like a secret in marriage. Nothing. Because the Bible and the vows that we follow, the vows we vow before people, tells that from today henceforth, I offer myself to you. With all that I am, I give to you. Now, my wife knows my everything that is in my phone, knows the password of my phone, the password of my cards, bank account, and knows that the properties that we own.
Yes.
And let me say this to you and to the public. My wife is my next of kin to every property I own. If I don't go back today, if I get to my car and I don't get home, my wife is the second to all those. Now, phones, if you don't have anything evilous, if you don't have anything bad, wrong that you're doing with you, because this is a mode of communication.
Yeah.
We are supposed to be open even beyond just a phone. What do you hide if you cannot hide a land title?
But you know, it's so ridiculous that men are having a problem with this. It's because they are not vulnerable. You see, guys, you cannot build a relationship without vulnerability. Because until you're naked, only then can you really connect. Nothing to hide, nothing to fear. That's true love. But as long as there's stuff you're afraid of, you're hiding, that ain't true love. You mentioned about the openness. And that is what I've told, that is what we've built back at home. There's nothing she doesn't know. One time I was driving, and a traffic officer stopped me and said, "Can I have a look at your license?" And I pulled out my driver's license and then looked around. Okay, you're doing good. And then he checked with my third party on the vehicle. And then he said, "Hey, how comes I thought this is your car? Where's the owner?"
Say it's my car.
I said, "The owner is my wife. Those are the names." "Yeah, I see you're driving a woman's car." I said, "Yeah, because she's the only thing I own. All these things are hers. Even my vehicle is in her names. Even my house is in her names. I mean, I got nothing."
And she was
Well,
stunned. Was
this
she
traffic,
or he?
It was a he. This traffic officer was like, "Oh, that's dangerous. That's dangerous." And you see, it is in such manners that people miss out. One time, we were purchasing land, a plot of land, and I came with my wife, and I told the guy who was selling it, I said, "My wife will, everything is in her names." And the guy was an elderly guy. He put me aside. He said, "Son,
Do you know what you're doing?
do you know what you're doing?
Are you bewitched?
This is not clear. I am old enough to be your father. I know better." I said, "That's for you. As for me, it's in her names. It's in her names." Now, that ability of openness, you know, of transparency. One time a guy, because you mentioned it, a guy told me, "What will happen if you wake up in the morning and she says, 'I'm done with you,' and she walks away with everything?" And my answer was, "You know what? If she ever does that, God bless her heart. And I'll tell you something, she will never find a man like me."
Oh.
And the guy said, "Who do you think you are?" I said, "She will never find a man like me." I said, "Men like us are hard to find. We only come from God." You get it?
And I was the only her number.
I was the only one. So if she turns against me, she will know there was a
Never.
man
No.
that loved me.
Yeah.
There was a man that loved me. So that one we cannot deny. So now when you talk about transparency, that we must be open, that means men got to be vulnerable. Men got to talk and be open. Now, we men, when it comes to social media, there's something called flirting.
Okay.
And many people enjoy the flirting. Wow. Woo. Just like your tie. Woo. I thought you're hot. Woo. You're amazing. Woo. And you're like, ooh. Ooh. And you begin responding to that.
Yeah.
Flirting. And many believe flirting is okay. They can flirt and it's okay. But do you realize flirting is literally turning somebody on without having any intention of going anywhere? You get it? In other words, if you are married, flirting is not just turning them on, it's adultery.
Because that's a scripture. If you look at a woman with lustful eyes,
Thank
you've
you.
already
Committed adultery.
committed adultery. Yes.
So,
That is Jesus' words.
yes.
Yes.
So now when it comes to social media, as men, as much as women are being told, do not dress like this, I think you can tell men to present themselves as taken. Most men do not present themselves as taken either. Because we talked about the women, but the men, they don't present themselves as taken.
They present themselves as if they are available.
Available.
Yeah.
And that's cheating on your wife.
It is. Yeah.
That's cheating. I mean, that's why I love the publicity campaign, because that's cheating. Because why don't you tell everybody I'm taken?
I am married. I am taken. You know, one time I was, like you mentioned about a traffic office, I also remembered one that always maybe gets duty on Sunday on the same road where we pass when we are going to church.
Yeah.
Every time we come. But one time, I always bless that woman because come shine, come rain, she's always there. So every time I pass, like on Sundays, I bless her. I'm always with my wife in my front seat. Now, one time she was bold and said, but you guys, you always move together. My wife is a witness. And said, why don't we move together? And she was like, it's never found. Tell me the secret. I said, you have an office? I can come to your office and try to train you or teach you. And said, no, you don't have to come. Because my marriage is in a sorry state and it's beyond repair. So she was broken to the extent, even looking at us, cruising together, me and my wife, she was questioning if we are really doing the right thing. So some people have been driven to so much danger, to so much pain, whereby even a girl comes and appreciates you, you feel like, oh, there is an option. You called it flirting. And when someone says, oh, you look nice.
To you, your only mindset is in the negative. I can have her too.
Yeah, but it is just an appreciation. It's just a compliment.
Yes.
Because don't take it beyond a compliment. Because once you drive it beyond a compliment, you're sinning. You're sinning against God and against your wife. And the best way to do it is to repent. And then turn away from that wicked ways. Then God will refresh you. Now, I want to question my fellow men. I'm this beyond 50 years of age. So I've seen some days. I wasn't this wrinkled some years ago. But we've been appreciated. But you know, there is this compliment that are extra beyond that you think, oh, this is real an appreciation. When you get to the plane, Pastor, there are those wonderful young girls that are placed on the door to welcome you. Their word is, you're welcome.
With a smile.
With a smile. Do you take it beyond that?
No.
It is a welcome.
Yes.
And if you're smart, this girl will tell you, oh, you're smart.
Yes.
That's a compliment. And you let it, you just care about your luggages, you care about how to get your seat, how to find your seat, because that is your focus. Yeah. We married men, even when you bring that, and when you, I care about my luggage, I care about how to find my seat, I care about how to find my children, how to find my wife. Yes. Doesn't add any value to me. So all men that are married, that has to be the attitude. Now because you cannot stop people from appreciating.
No, you cannot.
Today on my way coming here, let me tell you this. From what is happening on social media and everything that is happening, I don't carry women. Like, I don't give lift to women.
Because so much evil has come out of it.
But I found this particular lady, a nurse, in one of the hospitals that I know. I've always been there to that hospital. So she was getting to the road to wait for the public means. And I parked, and the lady was like, I am their client at the hospital. So I told her, can I give you a lift? She was even like, should I come in? And she was opting to a no. Because there is this negativity that if a man gives a woman a lift,
the next thing is the bed.
Yeah. But now she has got the experience today.
That they're genuine men.
They're genuine men. Let's represent men. Do the right thing. If a woman appreciates you, take it as a compliment, just an appreciation. Don't drive it to find the address, the telephone contacts.
You see, with the digital era, that's where they've been messing up. You just keep,
someone comes to your social media or to whatever handle you're using and say, oh, you look good. Thank you. Thank you. Can you give me your contact? And then you go into DMs and you're like, oh, you're continuing. You're sinning.
Pastor Philip, your last word.
Just have a sense of control.
Thank you.
Control on social media, control on the things that affect our marriage, and let us publicize the good image of God in our marriage. Like this week, today is Sunday, right now, through the week, all of our viewers, publicize your marriage.
You've had it from the man himself. Go ahead and publicize your marriage. Yeah. And I am not ashamed of saying, Robbie, you're the one and only. And I'm going to tell you something. There'll never be another. Let nobody ever tell you. And you know, by the way, nobody going to tell you nothing. Because you will always be the one and only until the rapture. Hey, that's how we can use social media. We're going to publicize. I love you, Robbie. And the rest of you, go tell it to your spouse. This is only for my spouse.
Let me not lose this opportunity. Jessica, you are the only one. For the last 26 and a half years, it feels like we just started yesterday. I can't wait to celebrate with you the 50 years, our golden jubilee. God-given life, 75 years. Then I will be 102 years, and I'll be ready to go home. When you're still here, remember me. I am the lovely husband God blessed you with.
Now you've had it from the man himself, and of course, it requires that I conclude. Robbie.
Unlocking marital bliss.